I've seen lots of career feedback from folks saying, reach out to the hiring manager. Do so carefully. Okay. And the reason that I say this is this can be a good thing or this can be a bad thing, in that it can put a hiring manager in a really awkward position where if they meet with you, you might be inadvertently putting them in a position where they now feel awkwardly obligated if they were to move forward with you, and they don't want to have that difficult conversation. And as a result, they may not even interview you so that they don't have to deal with it. I'm not saying that's what happens all the time. I'm not saying this is consistent. What I'm saying is you do need to be careful with that. And so, what's the alternative? And again, some people may argue with me on this and say, no, no, absolutely. Reach out to every hiring manager. It's a really positive thing. But I can just say, as a hiring manager, for me, I think I've gotten to the point where I don't get awkward with it. But I remember early in my hiring manager days, I was really uncomfortable with candidates reaching out directly to me and asking, can you, hey, I'd love to grab coffee and chat with you, whatever type of a thing. In some ways, companies don't always like it because you're subverting the process. In some ways, it puts a hiring manager in a weird position because now they've interviewed you before they interviewed you, and you may actually show your cards too early and be a little too eager. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that can get messy. Now, again, am I telling you never do it? No. And again, some people would argue with me vehemently, but my personal experience, just sharing from a hiring manager's perspective, is there are different ways I think you can go about that if you want to get on someone's radar. And the one I shared before in terms of the networking is get to know people who are in that person's sphere of influence is actually, in my opinion, a more effective way to bridge that gap than to try to go directly to the source. Because going directly to the source, of course, they're going to feel like, well, of course, you're going to show me the best version of you. But hearing from someone in their sphere of influence may actually be a better alternative. And again, that may mean not saying, hey, person who's in their sphere of influence, can you introduce me to hiring manager? There you're just adding an additional step to the awkwardness potentially, versus get to know that person who's in their sphere of influence and see if they would be comfortable connecting the dots or making a recommendation or something like that. That may up your chances without adding the layer of awkwardness. And it also gives you another conversation point because now you can say, oh, we both know this person, again, making it on a more personal level.